Hello and welcome to the Deception Podcast, attempting to make an audio show out of a visual art form since 2013. My name is John T. Sparrow. I'm all on my lonesome over here. There's just me. Luckily, I have got somebody with me. Our special guest host today is Mr. Mark Bennett.
Hello.
So, Mark, of course everyone knows you. You are a pillar of the Magic Society, but in case they don't...
Not really.
Who are you?
I'm Mark Bennett. I'm the owner and creator of Illusions Magic Bar and Smoke and Mirrors Magic Theatre Bar.
So we're going to talk about those a little bit later on, mainly because I think it's important that the people know about sort of live magic in the UK, but mainly, honestly, because not much has happened this week, to be fair, so we're going to need some filler. So, but there is one story you want to talk about, actually. So it's something you've brought with you, Mark, and that is... the Magic Circle Awards.
Yes, yeah, that would happen this week.
This week?
Yes, it did.
So,
yes.
Did you go?
No.
Were you nominated?
No, I'm again not nominated. I'm still waiting for the masculine. That's what I would like, because that's the purveyor of promoting magic in England. But
oh, really? Yeah. That's actually what the award is for, promoting magic in England. Okay, so this year that went to, do we know?
Ian Adair,
which you've got a book there of Ian's. I mean, it's one that he wrote. You've not gone and stole it from Ian.
But he's done millions of books. Yeah. Even in hold on, this is Paul Daniels' magic book.
Yeah.
This was done by Ian Adair, and he's managed to find time to write. And this is in 1980, and he'd already published 73 books.
Okay.
Ian Adair, and this is 1980. so 73 books before that date. Is that
real?
That's real.
Well, wait.
So he's published a lot of books, Mr. Ian Adair, and fair play to him for winning. That's a good. He won for literature, obviously.
Yeah, sure.
For promoting magic on that side. So fair play to him. And obviously, Paul Zennon won the Carlton Comedy Award.
Yeah, for not being funny.
Well, he is funny when you see him.
No, he's a very funny guy, yeah.
He's a very funny guy, but the only thing he's done this year is Linking Rings in Edinburgh, the Edinburgh Fringe, which isn't a funny show. No,
and it was more of it was like a biopic show, wasn't it? I'm assuming he at some point performed the Linking Rings.
Oh, what? But as in doing the
As in, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But it wasn't a magic show, was it really? I'm pretty sure that was the only trick in it.
Yeah.
And it was sort of like the culmination of it was the story of it was like Houdini's right-hand man guy, wasn't it?
That's right. Who ended up running a shop. I've never seen it, don't really know the whole thing. I know Paul said he might take it elsewhere, etc.
Yeah. I don't know. I've not been to Edinburgh. I'd definitely see it if it came nearer, because not only do I admire Paul as a performer, I think his historical knowledge as well on some of the subjects is fantastic. I remember when that I can't remember who made it, but there was a Houdini. We talked about it on the show. There was a Houdini show made. I think it was like the History Channel or something like that.
Yeah.
Do you remember? It was like a two-part Houdini. I forget the name of the guy. It was Adrian something, I think, played it.
Yes.
Brody, Adrian Brody.
Yeah, but Mr. Zennon, who is a very knowledgeable of Mr. Houdini.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't find that very good.
No. A few people who know anything about the story didn't find it very good. I enjoyed it as a piece of theatre. I enjoyed it as as an interesting thing to watch. I know somebody mentioned there's a film coming out this week. I think it's just called Jobs or Steve Jobs, which is meant to be a biopic of Steve Jobs. And apparently that's very similar. If you go and enjoy it as a movie, that's fine. Don't expect any true things to happen in it. Yeah.
Well, he said that one of my favourite things of the Houdini one, Paul Zennon said to me, and he goes, he said, "Did you know that that Houdini was the first ever man to fly an aeroplane in Australia, and and he was the first ever person to fly an aeroplane on his own, single plane to fly in Australia." And Houdini is quoted to say, "If I'm not remembered for magic, I'll definitely be remembered for this."
Really? And nobody's ever heard of it.
No one knows that fact.
Well, that's the thing that always gets me with those sort of shows, is like, the real story is interesting enough. I don't understand why you have to sort of falsify stuff to make it. I suppose that there has to be like a level of drama, doesn't there, and up and down and stuff that might not happen with the real stories. But I always think Houdini's real life was pretty mental.
Yeah.
There's no need to go on this whole he was a spy crap, which is where they normally end up, isn't it? All right, good. So, well, that was... Oh, I just realised we haven't done...
Travelling the world of prestidigitation and bringing back the interesting bits. This is Magic News.
I didn't press that. Well, it was. That was Magic News. So they're the only ones we can come up with. Paul Zennon won the Carlton Award.
Yeah.
And Ian Adair won the Masculine Award.
Yeah.
Were there any others that we know of? We can't... Unfortunately, they haven't updated their website yet with the Magic Circle page still says... who will this year's winners be? So unfortunately...
Yeah, it might be still quiet. Maybe we don't know.
Yeah. Maybe
but Paul's already put that on his...
I was just saying, we're not announcing anything we're not allowed to announce, are we, here?
No. Well, I'm already... I've done it. I've done it.
All right, good.
Okay.
So, well, there's not really much happened this week, unfortunately. So I thought instead we'd take the opportunity that we've got Mark here to talk a little bit about sort of live magic in the UK and what's going on with that. So... 2 bars you own now, both in Bristol. One being Illusions, and the other being Smoke and Mirrors. Illusions came first, and I'm right in thinking it wasn't originally Bristol either, was it?
No. Originally, I was. I've been a magician since '92, and then I work dries up because I used to just do nightclubs. I didn't do restaurants. I did a few corporates, etc. But I just walked around nightclubs, and work started to dry up because nightclubs business started changing. But I was very good at managing nightclubs. I watched other good managers, and kind of like I just went into management, but I kind of still read this book called The Magic Arts Journal by Michael Amar, and the Madge. And there was this one version, or one of the articles was about a bar called The Tower with Doc Eason.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah.
And I read that and I thought, what a great idea, a magic bar, that people could just go in and have a drink and do magic. And what I used to do in the nightclubs, being a magician, I used to go behind the bar and serve and do magic.
Yeah.
And then I wrote a business plan probably about 3 years into being a magician. And then it just sat in this drawer, this business plan for a magic bar. And then 2006, somebody from Virgin came to me and said, I'd basically having a drink with him. And he said, look, we've got a bar in Manchester that we don't know what to do with. It's not massive. It's quite a little small venue. I like the magic bar idea. Do you want to give it a go?
So before this, you'd not had experience as a bar proprietor then?
Oh, not as I'd been a manager.
Yeah, right.
Been a manager for a company for about 8 years.
Because honestly, I imagine that with the term magic bar, there probably has to be a lot more going into the bar side of things, and I can imagine
alcohol.
Yeah, but I imagine the organising the magic bit is relatively easy, really, to get magicians to stand behind a bar compared to the running of a bar.
Yes and no, really, because obviously when I started it, and obviously I was going, people going, oh, well done, a magic bar's come in, I'll come, I'll be there, I'll be there. And it's Illusions has been there now in Bristol for 8 years.
Yeah.
And I still, at Blackpool or at a convention, people still come up and go, must get down to your bar soon.
Yeah.
Must get down to your bar soon.
We used to get that with the shop all the time, yeah. Oh, can't wait, and even people from the city, would say, oh yeah, I'm going to get down, we'll have a good session, and,
that's my...
is that your cue, is it? Right, off you pop then.
Come on, you have a chat on your own.
I'll talk to myself. No, we'll cut it back in again, go on. Mark has to sell a table and chairs today at exactly this moment. There was nothing we could do about it, so we'll cut off and then we'll bring Mark back in a moment.
That wasn't them.
Oh really? Who was that then?
No, that wasn't them. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
So that's other parcels.
That's 2 cuts I'm going to have to do. Brilliant.
Sorry, dude.
That's all right. No worries. All right. So where were we?
Yes. So in 2006, Virgin offered me a venue in Manchester in the Printworks, and so I stuck up an advert on what's the not Talk Magic. What's the Magic Bunny? That was the biggest.
Oh, the forum, yeah.
Yeah, that was the biggest one at first, wasn't it?
At the time, yeah.
Going. And,
it is, but I think forums in general are struggling compared to things like Facebook groups now. If I'm honest, yeah, it's a lot easier, isn't it, to just have a have a look at Facebook and see the groups, I think, rather than go to forums. But I believe it's still got a bit of a following, yeah.
But what happened was to get the bar, I had to also be the general manager of the nightclub next door.
Right, okay. So that was their deal, was it? That was their deal. Virgin's deal, yeah.
That was their deal. They said, right, okay, we'll give you the Magic Bar, but you've got to run the nightclub as well, which is a 3,500 capacity nightclub.
Wow.
And an 80 capacity Magic Bar.
Yeah.
So, so the Magic Bar was not too bad to manage. And they had biscuit.
That's our third host today, Rosie, chirping in.
So,
you want to bet the bar, saying that you got an 80 capacity bar.
So 80 capacity bar. So I put an advert out to a thing in that obviously quite a few magicians came, and we did an audition. What I wanted to do for the auditions for all the magicians that turned up is I didn't want me to audition them. Right. Because I'm not going to be the one sat in the front of the bar having a drink.
Yeah.
Although I do now.
Although you do, yeah.
Although I do. But what I wanted them to do is entertain people who have worked all day. And when we were opening up this nightclub, we had managers and everybody that was there. Well done, Rosie, that's right. They had to entertain these people that had been there since 6:30 in the morning, and we were doing these auditions at 7:30 at night. So they were really tired, so they had to be entertained. So these magicians that came in, Matthew Wright.
Yeah.
Samuel Hurst.
Yeah. This is a bit of a who's who, this list, really, yeah.
And Andrew James Birtwell.
Yeah.
Alex Fisher. And a few others who didn't actually join us in the end, in some respects, because I told them how much I was paying them an hour. Which I'm not going to disclose. And, but that was nice.
But it's obviously going to be different to just taking a 2-hour booking, isn't it? You know, yeah.
This is what we told them. We said, look, you're going to be part of the first ever Magic Bar and called a Magic Bar. Because obviously I researched it a lot to see if anybody had done this before.
In the UK, at least, this is.
UK. And quite a few people had opened up and themed it around magic and everything, but it was called the Red Lion. And it was just a restaurant. So there was not many people around that were actually physically called themselves a Magic Bar.
Yeah, and actually, and having that as the complete focus, as opposed to a bar that often has magicians. Sort of thing. Yeah.
So we and that lasted for 9 months, and in that 9 months, I'd already secured the lease for Bristol for Illusions Magic Bar.
So you were living in Manchester then at the time.
Yeah.
But you're not from there originally.
No.
So you want
Southampton,
right? So where did Bristol come from then?
Well, weirdly, I was just looking to what bars were around.
Right.
And I had a house in Cheltenham because this was the last place I kind of managed for another company, and I just saw this bar come up for sale called Baroque, and I just went, oh, I like the shape of it. And when I did the images of, those 3D home,
I remember seeing those. Yeah.
Yeah. And I kind of sat down and goes, well, I'm going to put the piano there. I'm going to put this there. The magic bar's going to go there. The stage is going to be there.
So is this Baroque? Was this on the triangle? This is where it is now. Yeah.
Where it's now. Yeah. And I got the dimensions wrong a little bit because it looked bigger than I thought.
Yeah.
So when I got there and I was like, yeah, that's not going to work. And, I bought the place in July 2007 and then launched Illusions itself in September 2007.
Yeah,
and it was quite weird because obviously when I opened it, I had Matt Coleman, who was working for me at that time. James Brown came down for the opening night and did a set, which was really nice. I think that's the last time he came.
The Sex Machine and
the Sex Machine, James Brown, and I had. Liz Warlock invited.
Oh, yeah.
She obviously, she's a scribe for the linking ring, etc. Of the IBM, and she said, "What's the magic word to get in?" I kind of leant forward and I was like, "I have no idea what you mean." And she goes, "Well, how do people get into the venue?" And I goes, "Through the front door." And then obviously I explained to her. I said, Illusions is anybody can come in at any time they want.
Yeah.
And watch live magic. And
well, I suppose the only sort of like prequel to it for a lot of people would be things like what's the one in Hollywood?
Magic Castle.
Magic Castle, things like that, where they very much have like a bit of sort of air about them, and you have to go through the secret door and things like that.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that for a lot of people, that's their only sort of idea of what a magic bar could be, I guess.
And I think that was her kind of thing, because on the walls, they were really nice. We put the magic posters up as, you can get, and they were all nicely neat on the wall. Everything was really clean.
Did you have the Houdini in the pillar in the middle?
No,
was that
no,
straight away, or was that a little bit later?
That came a few years later when Annabelle's pictures were up a few months later, because we had the Annabelle cards.
Yeah.
They were up later, but then I commissioned Annabelle to do the Houdini pillar.
Yeah, there's a pillar in the middle of the bar it's been painted all the way around to make it look like it's Houdini in the water torture cell. It's been done by Annabelle de Witten, the sort of magician, and she does cakes now, fantastic cakes.
Yes,
which
little
is
baby
an artist, little sort of like peculiar cakes and chocolate heads and stuff. They're fantastic, aren't they? But she did that, and then also you got the wall along the side was done by a graffiti artist. The wall outside, was that a local guy? Was that a Bristol guy? Was it?
Yeah. Weirdly enough, he came to me, just knocked on the door, and he said, "Look, I'm a graffiti artist," and he says, "I met my wife in this pub." And I said, "Well, I've only been open a little bit." Lots of stuff. Guess what? No, when it was originally called the Lord Byron, and we met, and I walk past this wall every day, and I just really want to paint it. And now you're a magic bar, I really want to do David Blaine. I want to spray paint David Blaine on the wall. And I said, "Well, I just don't want David Blaine.
You don't want to be the David Blaine bar." Yeah,
I just don't want that one on there. And I said, "Could you do Darren and Houdini in the middle?" And he said, "Well, right, okay." And a lot of people, obviously, for magicians might get it, but obviously the lay people don't. But obviously, what I wanted to do is link these three magicians together. Yeah. Obviously, Houdini, escapologist, didn't believe in psychics, etc. Mm-hmm. David Blaine does a lot of escapology, and Darren Brown kind of tries to pull out the fake people. So these kind of two really prime magicians now were all kind of linked to this guy Houdini in the middle. Yeah. And Toby painted it brilliantly, although Houdini still looks like Jose Mourinho. So it was, and that was nice because it only cost me £300.
Oh wow! Okay,
it was because he just really wanted to do it.
Just wanted to put something on that wall. Yeah,
yeah, and that was, and I was really happy that he did that.
Brilliant.
But going back to Liz Warlock.
Yeah, sorry.
So going back to Liz Warlock, she just turned around and she said, she goes, "Do you know what? I'm not going to write anything in the IBM."
Oh wow! Okay.
Because I just don't think you're ready. Are you?
For what?
You're not ready. And I was like, right. Okay, thanks for the support there. That's nice. And then she just walked off.
Ready for what?
Well, I was just thinking
the influx of magicians after reading the article.
You haven't got any illusions. You haven't got this. You haven't got that. And I just said, well, buying that kind of stuff to stick on a wall is really expensive. I do have a zigzag, which I bought from Stephen Lathwaite years ago. Yeah, and that cost me £350.
Yeah, just to sit there.
Just to stick on a wall. Property, I have used it though. I have used it.
Oh really? Is it functioning? Is it?
Yeah. The first year anniversary, I did it with a member of staff, and then it went back on the wall.
So I'll be honest with you. I mean, obviously, if you don't want to talk about this too much, that's fine. But I do feel a little bit that perhaps the magic's sort of community as a whole probably doesn't get behind you as much as it could. Really.
No, in some there are magicians that really do support, obviously, like yourselves, Aaron, and the people that do make the effort to come down and actually come in and buy a beer. That's I'm there for making it that way, exactly. And I couldn't make any money. I'm not a shop. We did try selling stuff, but it just wouldn't do.
There is a cigarette machine in the corner that's been repurposed to sell sort of Svengali decks and stuff, isn't there? Yeah.
Well, actually, I got told off by the not the police, but the health and safety people, saying that you're not allowed a cigarette machine in the bar. It should be not allowed in the public. And I went, off you go. Use
buy some cigarettes.
Buy some cigarettes from that, because nice Svengali deck in there, and an invisible deck. You got to pay £8 for that one. Yeah, and bicycles, but the bicycle's a bridge, So Paul Daniels is always in, so he's loving it.
Oh, really? Do poker ones just not fit or something?
No,
Yeah.
no. But bicycle are perfect cigarette size.
Yeah. Brilliant. So yeah. Not so much just like magicians in general, because I know a lot of magicians who go down there, and in the community, in the area at least, you do quite a bit. I know. Do you have a magic club still meet at Smoke, or?
No, there was a student society that came in. It was about 15 to 20 of them.
Yeah.
They came in and just sat in a corner, sessioned, didn't buy one drink.
Yeah, this is the big problem with them. I know I come from I used to do quiz nights as a living, and quizzers are not drinkers. And I know that magicians are not drinkers. They sit in the corner, and at most they'll nurse a pint, and it's not great.
So
until you get into the Ruskin, and then they all start throwing them.
Yeah, then it's like, well, But we have said to these magic societies that I'm there to support. I'm there to if you want me to to help out, etc. Do you want we can give you knowledge, etc., etc. And they're like, oh well, yeah, but we don't want to do it that way, and we don't want to do it this way. And then we would try to give them an open mic night on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Which is, any magician can come in on a Wednesday night and just have a quick chat with one of the residents and just say, look, do you mind if I have a go? And they can jump up behind the magic bar and have a little play. There's my door again.
There's your door. Go on then. Go and sell that table. So we mentioned then briefly the Smoke. So when did that come around then? It's more recent, isn't it?
Yeah, Smoke and Mirrors came from people kept phoning up Illusions Magic Bar and saying, oh, can we reserve, because we do online reservations, so for groups of people, we can come in and reserve a table, so they're guaranteed a little sit down.
Yeah.
And people kept saying, oh, we want a chair by the front of the magic.
Yeah.
So they had never been before, but they'd obviously heard of it and they came to it. And Illusions, if people don't know how Illusions works, is we don't have strolling magicians. We just have a magic bar. So we have two bars, one selling alcohol and the other one showing magic. It's got 5 seats and you can get about 10 people behind. And the magicians do 20, 25-minute shows. And so you choose to go and watch the magician. The magician doesn't approach you.
Yeah.
And so we kept getting these phone calls saying, oh, we want to sit at the front, sit at the front. And I just thought, maybe somebody wants to sit down and watch a full show.
An actual show, yeah.
Yeah, watch a show. So quite weirdly, before I bought Illusions, I'd seen another pub down the road, and but I was like, I didn't like the way it was laid out because it was an L-shaped bar, and the bottom of the bar of the L shape was the toilet, so there was no 2 separate rooms. It was just one room, and so it wasn't going to be used. And then probably about 4 years into Illusions, I kind of thought to myself, well, I'll go down and have a look at this pub again, because I saw it was coming up for renewal of their lease. And they turned around and they said, yeah, no, you're going to have to give us 70 grand for it. And I was like, I'm giving you 70 grand for it. And so left it. And then a year later, they came up to me and goes, do you want this pub for free?
And was this the bunch of grapes? Yeah.
Bunch of grapes, yeah, bunch of grapes. So they gave me the pub for free and plus paid out loads of money. There we go. Yeah. Radio star. Yeah, podcast.
There she is. Look, that's Rosie's come and joined us on the video stream.
Yes. Okay. All right.
So with Smoke then, because there is a separate room now with Smoke. There's a small sort of, I wouldn't call it theatre, but it's a sort of
it's a
sort
back
of
room.
Cabaret. Yeah, but it's sort of laid out. There is a stage. Yeah. And it's sort of laid out cabaret seating. What you'd expect from maybe like a small comedy club or something like that. I suppose is that kind of setup, isn't it? Really.
Well, I kind of wanted it to look like a speakeasy.
Yeah.
If somebody can imagine a speakeasy with the little candle lights.
Yeah.
On it, that's what I kind of wanted. So it was really intimate.
It is very intimate. It's a lovely little venue. It really is. And you have shows there weekends, Friday, Saturday, is it?
Or? Friday, Saturday are comedy magic shows.
Yeah.
Occasionally, 7 times a year, we give out the Fridays to our burlesque.
Right. Okay.
Magic and burlesque go really well together, but we don't do magic.
Oh, you just keep it as a burlesque night.
Yeah, we've
done quite a bit of burlesque actually. Magic sort of breaks up burlesque quite a bit, I think. And you do have the odd comedy night there as well, don't you? Just sort of regular sort of stand
every Monday,
Mondays, is that?
Yeah. Bunch of japes.
Bunch of japes. Do many people get that reference?
Only a few people that remember the pub.
They remember it used to be the bunch of grapes. Yeah, definitely. It's fantastic. I love the place. We get down there as many times as we can. I'm not down there this week. Aaron's coming down though, isn't he, and doing his one man show for you. But
it's going to be difficult how he's going to do the box. I don't know how he's
going
to do it.
We're doing a video link. But are you doing, because we used to have a big thing for your birthday, Illusion's birthday, and we didn't this last year. Are you waiting for 10 now then, are you?
I'm waiting for 10, yeah. I kind of like, when we got to, I think, John Archer, Matt Edwards, yourself, etc., the 7th year anniversary.
Yeah.
And I just kind of got to the point of like, well, who is actually left?
Yeah, because at this point you'd had Paul Daniels,
Paul Zennon, John Van Der Put.
Yeah, Piff did it when Piff was just off the back of Penn and Teller in this country.
That's right. Yeah.
And you'd struggle to get him now, I think.
Well, we struggled to get him that night. Really,
yes.
But it was good, you know. It was quite weird actually, because he even had a little following. Then he had 4 people dressed up as dragons.
People actually came up dressed as dragons, didn't they? Which was fascinating, like in dragon onesies or whatever.
Yeah.
He's sort of intense fans, I guess. So so you've had Paul Daniels, Paul Zennon, Piff,
John Archer,
the Wizards of Odd. Matt Edwards, fantastic, absolutely fantastic performer. Matt, I love, absolutely increases with Matt. Always am. Yeah. You're right. There's not many. It's difficult, isn't it? Because there's not many sort of big acts out there that can do like a cabaret slot, I guess. You know.
Well, the Jamie Raven now, but Russ Stevens won't let me have him.
Oh dear.
So, no, it's just been an arsehole as usual.
Fair enough. But who else is there? So who could you have? Because like even things like Dynamo, I assume, would cost the earth. And probably wouldn't be right for it anyway, really, if I'm honest.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, it's a difficult room, Smoke. I'm sorry, Illusions, because it
is tough, because there isn't really a stage. There's a raised bit, and it's fine for singers, to be in the corner raised, but you've really got. It's a very different presence you have to command on Illusions. Well,
it's difficult as well because the door's in the middle. The front door is in the middle of the whole building. So if you want to go out, you're kind of walking back in
through the
while someone's performing, and it kind of puts you off. And
was that one of the factors that made you go for Smoke and want something? Oh, look at this! I've been bought a cup of tea.
Oh,
she's good to me, isn't she?
Yeah, that's nice.
Is this one of the things that sort of made you go towards Smoke and say, I actually want somewhere that people can sit and sort of appreciate a little bit more of a sort of maybe slower, not necessarily slower pace, but
It was, because it was just so we can actually put on a full show without disturbing at all. And that's, without disturbing people. And it just, it relaxes the performer a lot more because they're there to, see a nice full show.
Yeah.
And it was just a shame, but I'm definitely waiting for year 10 now. I thought, we've had a good run.
Yeah.
And those nights I did not make any money on the birthay nights. Not a penny.
No, I imagine not.
Never a penny. And so they wait for the 10th one and have a big blowout and save some money over these 3 years that I haven't done any.
That's fantastic. Right, well, that was good. I enjoyed that. To be honest, I know that was a little bit different to what we normally do. I know we normally just sort of chat about news, but I thought seeing as it's just the two of us and we haven't had John before, I thought that'd be cool to do. I know we've encroached on another podcast sort of territory there by doing a bit of an interview, but it wasn't meant. It was just something to chat about, really. Just thought we'd fill the time. All right, we'll move on to your master bait. We asked people about Halloween because Halloween's coming up, and we wanted to know whether or not you theme tricks towards Halloween, or if you've got certain tricks that only come out the closet at Halloween. Pardon the pun. And or whether or not how do you feel about things that are tricks that are sort of made to scare? With things like the web or my pet. Is it My Pet Boris? Is the other one with the spider on it?
Yeah,
things like that. So I'll read a few comments out and then we'll have a little chat about it. But as you approach Halloween, do you theme your effects for this time of year? How do you feel about shock effects such as the web? Kieran Johnson has said, I don't have to change my act much. No, I imagine he doesn't really.
No, not really. No, he's quite
fucking scary throughout the year, to be honest. Dave Loosely has come on. We're trying to get Dave on the show, by the way, as one of our guest hosts, but It's very difficult to not clash with timelines, but we're doing our best to get him on at some point. I think it all comes down to reading your audience. The web is a great effect for the right person at the right time. If you misread your audience, though, it can turn them against you. Benny Brown has said, I don't do much. I'm always dressed for it, and my act is very Halloweeny anyway. For those who don't know Benny Brown, he does a lot of sort of needles and razor blades and that sort of stuff anyway, to be honest. Kind of fits the theme already. I just don't think the web is great. With Geek Magic, you can sort of get permission off everybody first, or at least strongly hint at the following act. But with the web, you could never know if somebody we could possibly spark a panic attack off with somebody with a severe phobia. I suppose that's the thing. With Geek Magic, you can pretty much tell them what's going to happen. It isn't really going to take away from the effect, is it? Do you know what I mean? You can say to somebody, I'm going to stick a needle through my cheek.
Yeah.
When you do it, they're not going to go, oh, well, he said he was going to do it. Does that make sense? Whereas you can't walk up to somebody and say, are you scared of spiders? Because there's going to be one on the back of your hand in a minute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? It's a very different sort of...
I used to do web when it first kind of came out, and then I stopped because I kept losing them.
Oh, it's a fair reason. What, the spiders?
Yeah.
Did you lose them just from time to time, or was it when people went, ah, and they flung off?
You kind of like, oh, that was brilliant, I go and do that again, and then you go, oh, actually, no, I can't find it. It's on a black floor.
It's under a table somewhere.
It's under a table. I'm not going to do that anymore. And I, when you do see it, I know one of your comments was, they actually ended up in A&E, which is
we'll get onto that in a minute. Yeah,
but it's just one of those. I think Halloween's a difficult one we've got at Smoke and Mirrors, we've got Halloween coming up.
Yeah,
and obviously it's landing on this weekend. So I've said to the House Magicians, we've got to theme this around Halloween because we're saying it's a Halloween special,
right?
And they're just going, well, what can I do?
Yeah.
Well,
there are some acts that lend themselves to it, though, aren't there? Like, I'm assuming, do you still have Tim down there, Tim Stracy?
Yes, yeah. Tim's fine.
His act's pretty much... Yeah, exactly. His act, he does like a mentalism act, and that's pretty much...
Mentalism, I think it's what you can actually make it easy for.
Yeah.
Is by being a mentalist.
You can basically
just
sort of...
stand comedy magician.
That can be trickier, yeah.
Knife through arm and...
Yeah.
Pen, knife... pencil through tongue.
Yeah,
that's about it. It's going to be funny.
Sort of shock value things, but then again, it is still funny. But that's okay, I guess. John Morton says, I don't normally theme my act for Halloween, but this year I've made a voodoo doll that I'm going to incorporate into some of my hypnosis sets. He's got a cool little picture of it there. Jack Brister has said, I don't theme my effects. I don't know if it really adds anything to the effects. If you've worked hard on perfecting the current repertoire, then why would you belittle the time spent honing those routines by performing some slapdash presentation together because of the time of year? I would also never perform shock effects as they don't suit my style at all. However, right time, right place, and most importantly, right performer, I can see them being killer pieces of magic. I understand adapting routines to incorporate a message, but I would never change the routine set just so a few people can say that was clever because it was Halloween and his magic was a bit spooky. That's just my 2 cents anyway. So that's a fair point, that. I think sometimes people can come on these sort of Facebook groups and say, oh, I've got a Mad Hatter party next week. What can I do? And people always say, just do your normal set because it's going to be 100 times better than anything you can slapdash together and make themed, But then in the same breath, people always say, oh, for Halloween, I do this and I do that. And sometimes, you think maybe, is magic enough? Is magic Halloweeny enough because it's magic, even though even if you're doing relatively standard stuff with cards or sponges or whatever, is just the idea of magic enough? I don't know.
I just think it's just one of those ones where even if you did and you put all that effort in to doing a Halloween set at a close-up gig or whatever, they probably wouldn't remember it at all anyway.
Yeah, that was Jack's point there. Are they going to sit there and say, "Oh, that was really good because there was a skeleton on the card and it's Halloween, so he's obviously made the effort." People probably aren't thinking that, are they?
No, not at all.
Henry White has said, "I keep it subtle." There's got a picture of him with his face done up like a zombie as a job. He said, "But I do red hot mama with blood." So what's that? So rather than using red cards, you use blue cards with like blood smeared over them. So I suppose that there's a simple thing you can do that the presentation itself necessarily isn't changing, is it? I think that's the difference. When you start giving yourself new script, that's when probably it isn't worth it. Here's the one you were talking about before. Catherine Rhodes has put, shock effects are foolish and can be dangerous. Making a fool of or embarrassing even one spectator for the benefit of others is not entertainment. It's more a form of bullying. It can be also be very dangerous. If you are doing such effects and you don't know what medical conditions your victim for that is what they are have. Sorry. You don't know how medical conditions your victim, for that's what they are, have. I have a partially collapsed lung, and when somebody performed the effect on me, I didn't know what was coming. It scared the shit out of me, and I ended up being not able to breathe. I was told I was in total agony, and I wound up in A&E. I don't care how you colour it, that is not entertainment. Well, so, and then, Sam Hurst has put, also... Also, right, no, listen, right,
no,
listen.
Wait,
listen, hold on, right. But also, you shouldn't do tricks with dairy for the lactose intolerant, wheat for celiacs, smoke for asthmatics, lights for epileptics, names with people with identity issues, leather wallets for vegans, plastic for environmental activists, etc., just in case. So, obviously,
leather wallet
two very, I like that, yeah, leather wallet for vegans. Two very, like, extremes of the spectrum there, but I kind of see both sides' point. Like, I won't perform the web, and it's purely because I did perform it once to an arachnophobe, and they sat in the corner on the floor shaking, and it wasn't a good reaction. And I thought, there's no way I could, like, as somebody said previously, Benny Brown, there's no way I can say, are you scared of spiders? Because that's going to tip the trick, I guess. Well, that's, to an extent. I mean, the web uses pictures of spiders' webs, can't you? So you can say, are you scared of spiders? Because I've got some pictures, I don't know. But then I also agree with Sam, is that where do you stop? Where do you stop doing stuff to make sure you don't offend somebody? It is a difficult line, isn't it? Faye Presto's put my favourite auntie, an absolute winner. I don't know what that is. Is that an effect? Is it my favourite auntie?
No, I don't know.
Or am I totally missing a joke?
Favourite auntie, an absolute winner.
So I'm sorry, Faye. I don't know if that's an effect. It's a new one to me. And if it's a joke, I don't get it. I'm sorry. Who else have we got here? Paul Wingham has said, I think theming is fine if you have the character to carry it off. Otherwise, it feels a bit contrived. As for the web, I never understand why anyone would did it when it came out, and now I don't understand why anyone would want to do a trick created by such an evil man. In the same way, I wonder why anybody would buy a Gary Glitter CD, each their own, I guess. Okay, well, I don't know this. There's some stuff going on with Jim Pace, is there?
I have no idea.
No, I've missed that one. You're normally all about the gossip, you normally know what's going on.
No, who's Jim Pace?
Jim Pace, the guy. But yeah, no, your theming point, I think, is right. If you've got the character to carry it off, I think it's okay. I've got one here that was sent privately to a friend of the show, Tom Mullinger, who was on the show a couple of weeks ago, has put, I love Halloween. I offer a show all year round that is a little darker than my main one. It incorporates voodoo routines, witchcraft principles, tarot, palm reading, and freak show. I present it as a collection of things I've studied and discovered, leaving it up to the audience to decide if it's magic or tricks or something more sinister. Through October, this gets more popular. I sell the show direct and often use it as an upsell this month. People who know I do this sort of stuff book me in advance for October, especially for Halloween shows. This type of magic is part of who I am and is apparent in my normal magic. I don't think magicians should try and instantly become a cult overnight to fill a booking, as it would never seem credible. However, when you do spook up your act a little in October, you can have some fun with it. I take a lot of risks when performing. I push the boundaries a lot. For producing a spider for somebody who's scared of them is not magic. It's more like assault. That's a fair point there, Tom, I think. Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's... if you've got the character to pull it off, like, say, Tom performs a little bit darker anyway. I would struggle. I think if I sat down to people who've either seen me perform before or know me or anything like that, and I said, I want to show you something interesting with a small voodoo doll I found that came from they laugh at me. There's no way I could pull it off. Probably, if they know me, they know that I think all that sort of stuff's bollocks anyway. But there's no way I could carry that off. Whereas there are people who when Eugene Berger does a trick like that, I'm engrossed.
Exactly. Yeah, because his whole point is, I'm going to say, well, let's put it this way: you wouldn't have Eugene walking around, would you? You have to go to his table and sit down and watch a show.
Yeah,
and you actually sit down and have a little a little mini show from him, and everything's storied. And it's like when we at Illusions, obviously, when we say it's gory magic and all that kind of stuff. I think Richard Newman is brilliant. He just went out and bought the fake hand, the It.
Oh yeah, that'll crawl.
And he just came in a doctor, and he just dressed up as a doctor and just did the whole set as normal, just with the It hand. And obviously, as I say, but like people like Tim and people who do mentalism, I think it's the easiest way for them to do.
Well, it's all mentalism has a lot more sort of theatrics involved with it than sort of regular magic, for want of a better term. Anyway, doesn't it? Really, I think when you can quite easily with a card trick say the patter line with a card trick can quite easily be what's happening. Like I've got a card here, I'll pop it in. Oh, weird! Look at that's on top. Pick a card, look at it, remember it. Whereas with mentalism, you can't do that. You can't, your patter routine for mentalism can't be, I've got a bit of paper, I'm going to write something down on it. I'm going to tear off the corners. That can't be a patter line for mentalism. There's got to be, the props are, used as ways of making something happen. What's happening is the theatrics of it. I'm reading your mind, or you can play it however you want, can't you? I'm reading your mind, or I'm picking up on neural linguistic techniques, or whichever way you want to go with it. What's actually happening isn't really what the trick is, whereas with magic it quite easily can be.
Pause.
Go on. Oh, another parcel.
Christmas presents turned up.
Lovely.
I got your Christmas present here, mate.
Oh, fantastic. Can't wait.
Yeah, it's all there for you. Ooh, it's yours, that.
This is making me realise how few people come to my door. I can't remember the last time I had to get something from the door.
It's just too much. It's too much.
Final thought we'll leave with Gary Jones has put, being devil's advocate here, but what if the booker asked for the web and it was this that secured the booking? This is for those who wouldn't otherwise perform any effect, where the spectator would or could be scared: head chopper, finger chopper, wrist chopper, knife through arm, knife through finger, effects with tarot cards, Halloween type effects, gospel effects, bike through, etc., etc. Thanks for that list. Is it the spider on the back of the hand, or using a head chopper is okay? Or if Sam mentioned above, where you draw the line. For me personally, there is time and place for most things. You have to be professional enough to know when and where to do your effects which are themed, and also have to sometimes put your personal feelings to one side and push the boundaries, much like an actor playing a role in a film. Also, is this purely based on phobias, or is it every effect which could scare? As for sucker type effects, it's up to the performer to take the sting out of these effects and not make the audience look the fools. This is the same with dangerous and scary effects. It's all down to the presentation and skill judgment of the performer. Or we have, of course, option 2. We don't take any Halloween themed gig if we don't find it morally wrong. There's an interesting point there, I think, is that I don't like the web really anymore. I've kind of gone off it. And I wouldn't do like a finger chopper or wrist chopper at a table, I don't think. But we went to saw Paul Daniels the other week over on the Wirral, and he did a head chopper, got a guy up, sort of standard routine, honestly. He did it well, but he did the whole bowling ball pin in front and, the newspaper in the basket and all that sort of stuff, the sort of standard stuff. And there is something about seeing the guy who's up there squirm a little, and it's kind of almost like the way you go into a scary ride. It's safe, but you kind of like being scared a little bit. You know what I mean?
Kieran Johnson, or Kieran Lafifa, years ago when he was at Illusions, we did a Halloween kind of style show once. I think it was for when Annabelle re-released the Houdini picture.
Right. And
Kieran did razor blades.
Right.
And and so I'm remembering it right now.
Can't help but laughing. I know the ending.
He obviously he took the razor blades, and first of all it was just like he started to try it. First of all, he goes, "Have you blunted them yet?" And he's like, "What?" So we had to obviously tell him how to blunt razor blades first, before you start doing the trick. And what he thought to make it a little bit more realistic was to put a blood capsule in his mouth.
Right.
So when he was doing swallowing the razor blades, a bit of a mistake, and as it's coming out, they're all kind of covered in blood, and to really make it a little bit more evil. And it was just like, wow, yeah, quite a cool idea. What Kieran didn't really realise was that sugar, blood, etc. as well melted the cotton, or made it very brittle.
Oh, right, okay.
Cotton actually started breaking in his
Oh,
mouth.
God.
So when he bit down on it, it was just melting the plastic. So when he was actually struggling to do it,
Yeah.
and started panicking, and as Kieran does, is with his lots of movement and just like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, what can I do? As he was pulling it out, this blood was coming out of his mouth everywhere. People crapping themselves. And then because he got so nervous and really upset that he wasn't going right, he ran off the stage.
Oh, God.
Into the bathroom, came back out, and people went, "Oh my God, what happened?" And he was just like,
and he went, "Ta-da!"
It's like, right, now I've got to try and remember, how can I do that every single time?
Yeah, exactly. How can I recreate that?
I only got 3 out, and the rest snapped, and obviously they're still stuck in my mouth, and I'm chewing on razor blades. But that was quite fun. So again, this is another aspect of like, he wanted to try and make it more gory.
Yeah.
But when he was doing the razor blades normally fine, and he could do it really well.
Yeah.
But trying to add something which you haven't really done before.
Exactly, yeah, purely because it's Halloween, yeah.
Yeah. So
you
don't
can
do
get
it.
into trouble, can't you? Don't do it, kids.
Just use a double backer and you're done.
Exactly. Right, that's all we've got time for then. That was brilliant, fantastic. Good topic. You can find us in all the usual places. We're on facebook.com/Deception Magic. Deception Podcast. You can find us on Twitter @Deception Magic. You can find myself. I'm @Jonty Sparrow. That's Jonty with an I. And where's the best place to get you, Mark?
@Magic Bar, @Smoke Magic Bar, @House Magicians 1.
House Magicians 1. Who was you saying that had got House Magicians?
A house DJ in America, and he's got 2 followers.
Oh, so he's the house magician as opposed to the house magician.
Yeah, can't have it.
You could he's only got 2 followers. When was the last time he,
About 2 years ago.
Oh, you could claim for that. Put in for Twitter, they'll get rid of that for you.
Oh, can you do that? Because I've asked him and he hasn't done anything.
Yeah, you can get in touch with Twitter. What's the name? Who's the guy? Oh, I'm going off on one there. But who's the guy? The NSA guy who's telling everyone what the government in America does. What's his name? Oh, I can't remember his name. But he's just joined Twitter and he robbed his name off somebody who hasn't used it for a few years or something like that. Yeah, it can be done. Look at you with your pipe. What's that? That's a
pipe down.
Very good. That's what's the name, isn't it? An electronic one.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, good stuff. Right, anyway, we're just chatting there. We can do this off air, can't we? Right. Thanks very much for listening, guys, and we'll see you next week.
This show is part of the Geekism Network. For more information on this and other shows, visit geekism-network.com.